The debate on the North-South divide has reignited. This time, three states are leading what they call South tax movement against the Modi-led union government. Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have pointed out that the union government distributes tax revenue unfairly. So why are the southern states saying this? In this interim budget, the allocation for one northern state, Uttar Pradesh alone, is significantly higher than to all five southern states combined. While Uttar Pradesh alone is getting 2.29 thousand crore, Andhra, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Telangana combined are getting around 1.93 thousand crore. Even before this budget, the southern states were at a huge disadvantage. This week, in Let Me Explain, I'll look at the numbers and talk about what the solutions can be. Let Me Explain is a weekly show in which I explain issues, controversies and much more. Do tune in every Friday to watch the show. Also become the News Minute subscriber and come to all our edit meetings. Now let's look at the numbers. According to data quoted in The Hindu, for every rupee Karnataka gives as tax, the state gets back just 15 paisa. The state contributes around 4 lakh crores to the union government in tax and gets back around 50 to 52,000 crores. The story is by and large similar for the other southern states as well. Tamil Nadu gets back 29 paisa for every rupee they give, Telangana gets 43 paisa, Andhra gets 49 paisa and Kerala gets 57 paisa. Bihar, on the other hand, gets back 7.06 rupees for every rupee they give. Uttar Pradesh gets 2.73, Assam gets 2.63 rupees and Madhya Pradesh gets back 2.42 rupees. Now let's take a look at the latest data given by the Union Ministry of Finance. This data was given to DMK's P. Wilson in Rajya Sabha on the 6th of February 2024. According to the numbers given here, Andhra Pradesh for every rupee sent as tax gets back 44 paise, Karnataka gets 11, Kerala gets 46, Tamil Nadu gets 22 and Telangana gets 27 paise. In contrast, Uttar Pradesh for every rupee sent gets back a rupee and 72 paise, Bihar gets 5.9 rupees, Madhya Pradesh gets 1.66 rupees. So why this disparity and who decides the share of each state? Well, according to Article 280 of the Indian Constitution, the Finance Commission decides the tax sharing formula. This means the manner in which revenue and the tax collected is transferred from the union government back to the states. At the heart of the issue is the question of fiscal federalism. The Finance Commission looks at two kinds of tax devolution, meaning transfer of taxes. Vertical devolution is the transfer of net tax collected from union to the states. Horizontal is between the states. And this is where it gets complicated. India's diversity is not limited to culture and language, but also growth, development and prosperity. The southern states' primary complaint is that the states which have not performed well in curbing their population and improving the overall quality of life are being rewarded, while states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are being penalized. So how is the population of the state connected to tax devolution, you may ask? Each Finance Commission looks at its terms of reference to decide the formula to divide the tax. Who decides the terms of reference? Well, the union government does. Till the 13th Finance Commission, that is till 2010, the formula was based on population numbers as per the 1971 census. But the 14th Finance Commission, whose recommendations came into force from 2015, changed this. They started basing the formula on 1971 and the 2011 census. The 15th Finance Commission started looking only at the 2011 census. This meant that the states that have not implemented population control methods well, like Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, get a larger share of the taxes. And this at the expense of states that have performed much better, like the southern states. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin called it an ill-conceived effort to systematically divert resources to states which have never made serious attempts at population control. So one thing that many in the BJP ask is, why are the southern states complaining? Why is Maharashtra, which is the richest state in the country, not? That's because allocation-wise, Maharashtra hasn't lost much. In fact, it's gained more. Let's look at the 12th, 14th and the 15th Finance Commission allocations.
As you can see, the allocation for all the 4 southern states have gone down while it's increased for Maharashtra. It went from 4.99% under the 12th Finance Commission to 6.32% under the 15th Finance Commission for Maharashtra.
As for Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are concerned, when it was one state, Andhra got 7.35%. The 15th Finance Commission gave Telangana 2.1% and Andhra 4.4%. This is why these states too are complaining.
Uttar Pradesh allocation meanwhile went up from 17.95% under the 12th Finance Commission to 19.26% under the 14th Finance Commission.
Allocations to each state changed based on the Finance Commission's parameters and the assigned weightage. For example, the 15th Finance Commission said its formula looks at fiscal needs and equity of a state, allocating more funds to poorer states with low per capita income. But the Commission also had performance-based criteria, like rewarding states with lower total fertility rate or rewarding states for forest cover. The allocations rise and fall every 5 years based on the state's needs and its performance. As I said, the terms of reference are decided by the union government. This has given the union government an undue advantage where it can favor itself and even categorize certain income as exclusive to them, leaving less for the states. Or they can simply shift the balance between the states by readjusting the formula. Presently, the union government gets 2/3 of the total tax revenue, but they're responsible for only 1/3 of the expenses. A small ratio of that is spent on core functions of the union government, such as defense and foreign affairs. In his book South versus North, India's Greatest Divide, Neelakantan R.S. says that the union government spends about 5% of the GDP on defense, security and interest payments all combined. Meanwhile, states which have responsibility for 2/3 of the expenses get only 1/3 of the taxes. The disparity in the revenue is compounded by the fact that the union government owns the mobile sources of revenue, such as corporate and personal income tax. The logic applied here was that since India is a federal system, citizens are allowed to move around the country freely for employment and other purposes. So states should not get into unhealthy competition between themselves for income tax. But what it really does is further skew the balance in favor of the union government. And the states where a large portion of these taxes are generated are not getting their fair share. Now let's look at the GST, the Goods and Services Tax that was launched on July 1st, 2017. The union government claimed that the GST would unify the country by creating a single market. But 7 years on, it's become yet another tool which is further eroding fiscal federalism. First, the GST curtailed the state's tax sources and increased their dependence on the union government for their share of the GST. Second, when GST was implemented, states were assured that a minimum 12% annual growth in revenue or they'd be compensated for any kind of shortfall. The Karnataka government says that their estimates show a large difference between promised and actual GST collections. Overall shortfall from 2017-18 to 2023-24 is 1.66 thousand crores. But the union government compensation covered only a portion of that gap. And the state is yet to get over 60,000 crores in compensation. The union government also has the power to levy cess and surcharges. These are taxes that will not go into the pool and can be used by the union government as they deem fit. Since 2017, from when the GST came into force, the percentage of cess has gone up by a whopping 153%, and this is not shared with the states. The union government's argument is that the funds get eventually diverted to states through discretionary grants. But the problem here is that the discretionary grants are arbitrary and are given to politically important states. A considerable portion of the funds given to the union government to states come in the form of centrally sponsored schemes or CSS. Around 20 to 25% of the total funds come through these schemes. And these funds come with instructions on how to spend it. This means that states have less freedom to decide on how to spend all the money that they get, even if it means that it is spent on subjects in the state or the concurrent list. Like health. Kerala has alleged that when the state government refused to change the name of the National Health Mission to Ayushman Arogya Mandir, saying that everybody in Kerala will not understand the Hindi name, funds have been stopped to the scheme. Take Andhra's demand for special category status, for instance. This grant is given to states that have historical disadvantage. And after losing Hyderabad to Telangana, the residual Andhra Pradesh for 10 years now have been asking for compensation so it can rebuild its economic centers. But so far, the union government has not budged. In 2022, the DMK raised the issue of regional disparity in railway infrastructure development, job opportunities, and most importantly, funding. The numbers put out by DMK show a significant difference in the new railway line budgets between the Northern and Southern railways. Northern Railway received 13,200 crores in 2022-2023, while the Southern Railway got just 59 crores. Between 2018 and 2022, over 31,000 crores were given to the Northern Railways, whereas the Southern Railway got a mere 308 crores. In response to the latest allegation of fiscal injustice, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had a three-point rebuttal. Taking the example of Karnataka itself, she said, "What if Bengaluru, which contributes the maximum in Karnataka's share of revenue, says that we don't want to be a part of the state anymore?" She was, of course, replying to Congress leader D.K. Suresh's statement that the southern states may think of becoming another country at this rate. While yes, the better performing states have to help the underperforming ones, the question is for how long and at what expense. Next, Nirmala Sitharaman claimed that the union government was simply following the recommendations given by the Finance Commission. "I don't have the right to change the rules as per my whims and fancies. I have no role to play," she said. But here's the catch. As I explained earlier, the terms of reference for the Finance Commission are passed by the Union Cabinet. So in effect, the Union government is setting the rules of the game and they can't simply wash off the hands of the matter. Her third point was about the fiscal prudence, and she made a reference to the welfare schemes of the Karnataka government. And she said, "If your expenditure is going into areas that cannot be sustained by your budget, I'm not responsible for that." But what the finance minister is not addressing is the state's right to welfare schemes with its own resources to better the lives of its citizens. What India needs is a relook at fiscal distribution and federalism. It's beyond doubt that the states that have poorly performed on parameters like the Human Development Indices and employment need financial assistance both from the union government and also from their fellow states. But can this continue to be at the cost of the states that are performing better? And can the union government continue to consolidate its power to unilaterally decide the distribution of funds? Because if these issues are not resolved quickly, the situation could get even more complicated in the next couple of years, with the delimitation exercise expected to kick off. And this will further increase the friction between the states as well as the states and the union government. If you want to better understand how delimitation will impact the southern states, I suggest that you watch this episode of Let Me Explain by my colleague Anna Isaac on delimitation. The link for that is in the description below. About this episode, if you have any comments, feedback, or questions, make sure that you drop them in the comment section below. And do tell us what you want us to take up in the next episode of Let Me Explain. do tune in every Friday for a new episode of Let Me Explain. Thank you for watching.